Welcome to the special coffee with yours truly, Dragan. We are gonna go live on Facebook and we are going to rock and roll in 3, 2, and 1. We are live. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to this special cup of coffee with yours truly, Dragan Zero. Dragan, independent artist, independent activist, independent athlete, geopolitical analyst and theorist, world peace advocate, and the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet. First and foremost, I am willing to say that I'm grateful and thankful that my rent is paid in full for the month of August, and that my electricity bill is also paid in full, so I also have coffee and I'm able to do this recording live via Facebook, philosophize, meditate, and of course propose and discuss my theories, my principles, my wishes, desires, and XYZ with an artistic, meditative, spiritual, loving manner. Yours truly, Adrian Hunter, Dragon, androgynous, pansexual, founder of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, who is not perfect, far from it, have issues, got vices, got lusts. Do not play it self-righteous, do not play it self-righteous. This is independent geopolitical analyst and theorist and philosopher, and this is not perfect. Sometimes get moody, get upset, get angry. I've been through hell and back, came back, fought depression, survived of depression, survived of being suicidal, and what I can say is that working out, training, exercising has been my medicine and therapy of choice. Got some brain and some muscle, got some brain and some muscle, have some brain and some muscle. I'm broke, but my work is gold. 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 Making an offer for maybe a lock of this hair is getting too long a bit. Make an offer via auctioning a lock of this hair, maybe this size, 3 inches, 4 inches, a million per inch, a million per inch, a million per inch. There you have it on PayPal. North American action of the auction. For every inch, 1 million to raise funds for my dancing artist in the Dragon Kingdom's world peace work, to pay my $10,000 debt to the Royal Bank of Canada, and of course to pay back the government of Quebec was asking me for $2,200 back, in which I'm trying to negotiate to give hugs for a weekend, maybe à l'Assemblée nationale de la belle province à Quebec, something like that. That was a little bit of French. I am French, I am Quebecois, I'm a North American global LGBTQ rainbow dragon citizen who's not perfect, far from it. Got issues, got lusts, got vices, do not play self-righteous. On this morning, 10:36 a.m. in the EST, in the Hawk Island, Montreal. Please, if you make a million on the stock market today, please give 10% for food security for LGBTQ youth or youth sports, so that the youth can engage in sports and physical activity and be incentivized, and of course for environmental causes. And give $1, make an offer for $1 to the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom via PayPal, whose androgynous pansexual founder is put in more work. I'm died during COVID, triple vaccinated. Please, again, increasing hygiene in public, please do increase in hygiene in public. While listening to this video, we're gonna be live, we're live on Facebook, and we're gonna put it on YouTube. And please, when you step outside of the private domain on which you are, in your private domain, as I am in my underground room, office, and temple, in my private underground room, office, and temple, I am private citizen Dragon. If I step outside, I am no longer just private citizen Dragon. I am also public citizen, public citizen with added responsibilities, duties, and obligations that are added into my being a private citizen. And as a private citizen, I can turn everything off, get naked, start dancing on Tekashi 6ix9ine music, or Madonna music, or Kanye West music. 1 million for 1 hour is the price for your studio. You don't have a dragon to dance naked. Be the greatest dance you ever seen, blah blah blah. And we're gonna close. But when we step outside, we got added responsibilities and obligations. So fellow citizens who want to, of course, stay 2 meters from other fellow citizens for X, Y, or Z reasons should have the ability to do so, or to do so. So yours truly, right here in this underground room, office, and temple, a world peace vigil in this late hour that we have to focus with solutions. And like I said, for myself, my solution in the past years has been working out, training, and exercising. It does wonders, miracles of more scientific than spiritual, although there is some spirituality involved and some mystic components, and of course components that are of the mind, body, and spirit. But working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, as I believe it is for many. And please, please, please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public when you step outside. Please wash your hands with soap and water and disinfect with hand sanitizer when you go into out of a public building, a bank, a grocery store, a school, or a mall. Pay to increase in hygiene. I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is paid for the month of August. My electricity bill is paid in full. My rent is paid in full, and grateful, thankful that I got this coffee. I'm gonna say thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, to the farmers who harvested this coffee, to the producers, to the farmers of the collective North American civilization. Of that's why I have a little bit of wieners, and I have rice, and I have other condiments, and other. Speaking of rice, I forgot my sister, anonymous sister told me about that. I've left the rice outside, so I have to go put it in the cupboard otherwise. So you'll excuse this philosopher, poet, world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet, and independent athlete, independent activist, and independent artist, triple A plus other dimensions. We are going to go for a minute. And we are back. We are back. Again, I am thankful, grateful that my rent is paid in full. I've fully paid my rent. I'm grateful, thankful that my electricity bill is also paid in full. That I got this cup of coffee, this black coffee that I'm drinking with no sugar, no milk, was made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. Initially with the black fertile earth and the golden light of the sun, and now the sun rises and sets and covers the light and life and light of the sun, all of Canada, coast to coast, since it's 10:41 a.m. here in the morning. It is 7:41 in the west coast in Vancouver, British Columbia. It is morning, 7:41. And of course in Seattle, Washington State, and of course in San Francisco, California, and San Francisco, California, and of course in the Los Angeles area, California. So all of Canada, coast to coast, all of North America, Canada, United States, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Panama, Costa Rica, and going on to Central America and South America, Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, the Guyanas, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil. So all of North America, Central America, and South America's, the sun is shining on so many countries, so many peoples. And of course my policy is as a North American philosopher in development of the theory and philosophy known as the collective North American civilization. As much as I believe in one human race, and we have civilizations and languages and cultures which of course have their nuances and their differences and their different expressions and so much diversity. And hopefully by the time that this cup of coffee will be over and this video will be over, we'll try to find some more solutions for myself as an individual who's looking for getting out of this financial crisis, economic crisis, commercial crisis, of which many are at the present moment in time. So please, again, if you make $1 million on the stock market today, do give a little bit of charity to LGBTQ youth, sports, and food security first. And if you're a multi-millionaire and a billionaire, asking this citizen to just give to food security a little bit, and independent artists, Starving artist like yours too little. I'm grateful that I got food. I'm not starving. My rent is paid, electricity bill, and this is the last video that I do make up. Who makes this? And it says Adrian Hanna Dragan, Adrian H. Dragan Bruno died during COVID, triple vaccinated. With a new CV, with a new curriculum vitae that put in more philosophical, spiritual, artistic, and physical work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. As simple CV, curriculum vitae, one page. Died during COVID, being reborn. Adrian Hanna Dragan, founding the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Put in more philosophical, artistic, spiritual, and intellectual work and physical work, with the workouts, with the marches, and the intellectual and the philosophies than all the leaders of the free world combined. I know my brothers and sisters, leaders of the free world, prime ministers, presidents, are good at reading from a piece of paper now. Please, Mr. NATO Secretary General Stoneberg, try to memorize a little bit of that paragraph, since I'm assuming that you really don't have to cook for yourselves, or prime ministers or presidents. You got it covered. Somebody cooks for you. Please try to memorize that paragraph at least once, or look less down at the piece of paper or the camera, so that, and please, for the sake of North American civilization, the collective North American civilization and Western civilization, say I love you a little bit, because this millennial, if it's not from LOV, love, and love is action, not just blah blah blah, love is action, not just blah blah blah, love is action, not just blah blah blah. I mean, what are we fighting to save this civilization, North America, for if somebody's not gonna make love today, kiss today, love today? How, what are we fighting for? Stock traders, stock market, multi-millionaire athletes, multi-millionaire rappers living in gated communities. Yo, multi-millionaire rappers, yeah, living in gated communities, baby. Rapper. You live in gated communities, man. Anyhow, just give to charity at least 10%. Because with all the lust and the vices and the issues that do have, and I do have, get moody, get upset, get triggered, got aggression, I channel, and sublimate. Two keywords of my philosophy: channel and sublimate. Whether it's aggression, whether it's sexuality, it's just part of us in XYZ. Channel, sublimate into comedy, art, workout, train, exercise. It's not easy sometimes. Sometimes we have to fulfill the cravings, whatever the desires, right? Right now, what I could use for good is a good massage therapy. Cannot afford a massage therapy at the moment, but that's what I'm craving as a human being, as a universal spiritual teaching student. I've been craving this massage for maybe during all COVID, but I am of the physical. I am of the physicality. But I'm not floating on clouds and be self-righteous that I've reached spiritual heights of where not I don't have the lust or the desire for pleasure, and the body is a temple for pleasure and purposes. I am calling all here this morning 10:47 to, in parallel with other creative ideas, to implement my trinity of theories to move for a post-COVID world, a post-COVID world, an economic, financial, commercial, spiritual, philosophical, artistic system of pleasure and purpose, a spiritual, philosophical, intellectual, political, economic, financial, commercial system of pleasure and purpose, to move by the implementation of my theories and the creation of the two complementary, cooperative, and covenant institutions, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, in complementary in a covenant cooperative way with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, to work to attain harmony between civilization and nature by education and action, increasing compost, increasing recycling as an individual, as a city, as the neighborhood, and compost and other. I could do better in all those things. I could do better in all those things. I could do better in all those things. As I'm living on the philosophy every day, carpe diem, to offer, calling all willingly living to support the implementation of the trinity of theories known as citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory. That trinity of theories How that trinity of theory is implemented to create the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions to move towards a post-COVID system and world of a political, economic, financial, commercial, spiritual, political, social world of for pleasure and purpose. Purpose to attain harmony between civilization and nature. Purpose to attain harmony between civilization and nature. The purpose to attain harmony between civilization and nature, and to channel the aggressions, channel the violence, channel do workout, train, exercise, which has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy for yours truly. Channel and sublimate are key words of my philosophy. Channeling and sublimating, meaning to take action. I've been through depression. It's not a good place to be. It takes action. It requires that. My own healing has required action, action, action. Working out, training, exercising, working out, training, exercising, working out, training, and exercising. Just like to build this civilization, and I'm gonna say a thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Workers of Hydro Quebec, past, present, and future. If you see this in the future, les travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec qui construit 63 centrales pour que nous autres sites on ait des que je puisse faire cette vidéo. Thank you, merci beaucoup, je vous aime, câlin, bisous, amour, santé. I'm a French Canadian, Quebecer, North American as well. I love French. I write songs in French as well, so that was a little bit of French Quebecois. I'm here in Hawk Island, Montreal, in the province of Quebec, La Belle Province, in North America. A North American philosopher, hey, Rainbow Dragan, a world citizen, gotta act local, think global, act local, think global, act local, think global. But now being mindful and meditating and thinking. I was in the past for decades, since 1963 or so, since 1963 is the year of the current bureaucratic, legalistic, and structure, the legal structure of the Hydro-Quebec Public Corporation and how it's structured as a public entity here in Quebec. So Hydro-Quebec is we have 63 dams, and thanks to those dams who powered me charging my smartphone, that electricity came from the rivers, and to do this, to record this video on this laptop, I also plugged it in the plug. It went, it's connected with hundreds of cables and big power lines, and this great province of La Belle Province, Quebec. And those 63 dams, one of them or two of them or three of them or a combination power all this electricity, right, that I'm grateful, thankful to use. And that's renewable, clean, zero pollution. That's zero pollution, clean, renewable. It's zero pollution, renewable, clean. Can get more more environmentally friendly than Hydro-Quebec. On peut pas être plus amical, puis en amour, puis en harmonie avec l'environnement que l'Hydro-Québec. That's Hydro-Quebec. It's clean, renewable, zero emission that I'm using to make this video. And all the power in my coffee maker uses clean, renewable, zero emission energy. And as a matter of fact, also gives to 5 states, or maybe six now in the US. And yours truly, many past lives, many incarnations, born right here in past lives before 1492, and in the USA twice in past lives, as a matter of fact, 156 years ago, that way, which is south, 718 miles south of Hawk Island, Montreal, 156 years ago, served in the US Army, down around south about. So as a North American and a philosopher calling for the policies, my policy to be implemented for the collective North American civilization of one border, two oceans, one border, two oceans, one border, two oceans. Yes, we are one world, but you see, we have tensions. Yes, within my own neighborhood, maybe I wouldn't get along all that well, or more or less, with others who we have different temperaments. We have so many characters. Ensuring freedom is a double-edged sword. I got it tattooed here, but I admit my tiny hands, too heavy to lift the sword of freedom, is to be defined and insured and secured, right? And insured and secured. And if we have to address economic, financial, socio-economic issues and other issues, right? Sexual liberation has not come without blood, sweat, and tears for me personally, right? Being out in the open as androgynous pansexual for a few years now, even on the public and social media, as a Androgynous pansexual, androgynous pansexual, a universal revolutionary centrist. That's my political philosophy. I'm a universal revolutionary centrist. My political philosophy is universal revolutionary centrism, based on my theories and my own experiences, my own struggles of XYZ organizations, and I don't want to do anything out of hate. I don't want to do anything out of hate or resentment, or it's a bad place to be. I have them in me. I have the jealousy as well. I'm not totally floating on clouds in a philosophical, spiritual manner. I get upset, moody sometimes. I say he can afford multi-millionaire athletes in the NFL, patriarchal sports leagues. I'm going to say patriarchal sports leagues. I will say patriarchal sports leagues because, let's face it, there's not even one women's sports leagues, which makes even close financially, economically, commercially to what the patriarchal sports leagues. There's not even one who makes even close economically, financially, commercially to what the four patriarchal sports leagues. Not even close. There is none women sports leagues who makes, which as a league, as an institutional organization, which makes even close economically, financially, commercially to what the four patriarchal sports leagues of the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. My brothers is multi-millionaire athletes, and the multi-millionaires and billionaire CEOs, and the multi-millionaires and multi-billionaire CEOs, and the multi-billionaire CEOs finance food security. And with food security finance, people support my Dragan Army, support my Dragan Army, support my Dragan Army in order to mass finance people to work out, to train, and to exercise. It has done wonders for me. It has spirituals, blood, sweat, and tears, and sweat, lost more than 77 pounds. Lost more than 77 pounds, lost more than 77 pounds. Created my own workout system, which I'm proud of. I'm work in progress to build applications, apps, and internet, and I'm looking for volunteers. Of course, I'm trying to connect and during COVID with the parallel self. I got a parallel self, me in a parallel life, universe, if you will. All I know is satellites, supercomputers, ICBM rockets, microchips, gadgets, coding, smartphones, and we're connecting with each other. I get headaches and he gets sores. I say, well, you're sending me 56,000 pages to read over a whole week. That's like 10 books in a week about technical satellites, supercomputers, computer networks, and telecommunications, and satellites, and ICBM rockets, and microchips, and smartphones. And I give him my workout, which I've created, made, and designed back in October 2019. And he's having trouble. My parallel self, where science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path. As I'm having, we're getting better at it. But as we're having connecting, is getting better. He has difficulty doing my workout, which is the requirement for anybody willingly living to join the Dragan Army. I'm gonna take a moment to thank the city workers, those who picked up the garbage, those who picked up the recycling, and who will pick up the compost. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Workers of the city, we're gonna pick up the compost, we're gonna pick up the recycling, we're gonna pick up the recycling, the compost, and the garbage, the compost, and the recycling. Thank you, love you, kiss you, and all sanitation workers. So, as I'm trying to connect with that parallel self where science, supercomputers, ICBM rockets, ICBM rockets, satellites, and microchips, smartphones, coding, and computer networks and supercomputers is all I do, all I know in that parallel life. So, during COVID, we're connecting with that parallel self. I gave him the workout. You try to do my workout, I'll try reading your creations in the scientific, innovation, and technological world. Where in that parallel life, I connect satellites with computer networks and radio telecommunications and smartphones. And I'm a scientist who grew up in Germany, went as an adult in Israel, and spent life between North America, Germany, Israel, and beyond. Israel, Germany, North America, and beyond. North America, Israel, and Germany, and beyond. And this life right here in Hawk Island, I've created my own workout training program, which I'm gonna try to build the app. XYZ, and if you're a volunteer, do it. Try to do the workout which I've created, and calling maybe for the mass financing of this workout, people to do it and have it recorded with webcams, and XYZ. And when it's completed, you do it, you get an incentive, you get XYZ. It's an effective, simple, and effective total body training system. Though I'm proud of this creation, as I'm of course take pride of not just being LGBTQ, but being an LGBTQ philosopher, poet, artist, independent athlete, people's athlete, and of course, and also doing and advocating, not just advocating for the mass financing of working out training and exercising, which has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for me, but also doing it as a proof of work. Got hundreds of videos of workout videos, got hundreds of workout videos, hundreds of workout videos, got hundreds of workout videos, hundreds of workout videos on YouTube and on Facebook. So the general integrated body training system, when I've created it, which I'm proud of this creation, I've made it from me being an independent fitness captain, somebody on a fitness journey, which is ongoing even today. Probably gonna work out now. We're gonna work out some of the brain by doing some reading on a controversial topic, and you know, we're gonna do some reading from the Wikipedia article to educate, since it has been in the news, the recent China-Taiwan crises. Taiwan is officially known as the Republic of China, while China is known as the People's Republic of China. I am calling, of course, for a resolution, a peaceful resolution, and the application of my theories, and perhaps not just for the North American civilizational collective, but first and foremost, of course, I am a North American. I'm in Hawk Island, Montreal. I'm a Quebecer, North American, and I have to go coast to coast. That's my policy for North America. 2 oceans, 1 border, 2 oceans, 1 border, 2 oceans. And as a matter of fact, not just for North America, but also for Central America and South America. And as much as I believe in coming together humanity and breaking the impasse to develop a global civilization, and I realize that there's also tensions and clashes between nations and civilizations as well. And as much as I'm part utopian dreamer, maybe a fool, dreamer fool, I also have experienced other sides of human nature, and I do admit that I have aggression in me. And no need to spy on me. CSIS, CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, no RCMP, or police or security for that matters. I'm advocating for the Dragan Army to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions of security and armed forces, a new institution integrated with all existing institutions of security. The Dragan Army to be of security and service, to be for security and service, to provide services on demand with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. Principle that harm none, all services: cooking, cleaning, massaging, washing, massaging, cleaning, cooking, working out, training, exercising, doing, reading, XYZ, cleaning, cooking, massaging, plumbing, all services and security. To secure and ensure liberty and universal revolutionary centrism and philosophies, pleasure and purpose, the body is to move, break the impasse of the 21st century, personal impasse and local impasse, national, and for that matter, international. So no need to spy on me. CSIS, RCMP, and CIA, NSA, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, National Security Agency, NSA, and Stasi. Well, the Stasis were gone after November 1989, but the German secret service, or the FSB, former KGB, FSB, former KGB, FSB, former KGB, and Mossad, Mossad. I got a tiny little androgynous car clit. I got clitoris dick, so we got that out of the way. No need to spy on me. I watched some pornography during the weekend, and this morning early I masturbated a little bit, and no need to spy on me. I'm broke, $10,000 in debt to the RBC. I do have weird, dark, twisted fantasies. Dark, twisted fantasies, dark twisted fantasies. And I'm not perfect, far from it. Also rap, so don't want me to start a deliciously disgusting diatribe. Deliciously disgusting diatribe, a deliciously disgusting diatribe of rap. They don't want me to rap. I'm gonna be a minority in the rap industry, be a minority in the athletes. What's happening to my Rainbow Bro Colin Nasib NFL? What's happening to my Rainbow Bro Colin Nasib NFL? What's happening to my Rainbow Bro Colin Nasib NFL? Just finance, food security. If you're a multi-millionaire, if you made $1 million today, 9:30, stock market open. It's 11:04 a.m. in the morning. If you make $1 million today, finance food security. Finance food security, finance food security, and LGBTQ youth, supporting people to work out, train, exercise, and channel and sublimate. Channel and sublimate. Channel and sublimate. The aggression, the violence. Do push-ups, do hawks, do squats, do my general war integrated total body training system. Do my general war integrated total body work system. The one that I've created back in 2019 and of which I've performed more than 270. The General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragan Army workout, aka the 300 workout. Simple, effective, and efficient. Increases general overall fitness. It increases general overall fitness. It increases general overall fitness, and it will increase about 300 or so sessions, and afterwards it will be maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. Now I'm doing special, and I've done special ones in the sun, which are kind of double or triple. But these are the rules of the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, which is a requirement de facto examination for all willingly loving to become a member of the Dragan Army. You got to be able to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. You got 93 minutes. That's an hour and a half plus 3 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. 13 repetitions maximum per set, minimum 3. 13 and 3 are two key numbers to remember. Anywhere in between, I'm doing 10 sets of 10. 10 times 10 is an easy count, 7. You can do 8, 4, whatever the number is, between 13 and 3. And there's a requirement of a minimum of marching or walking or running fast paced or jogging of 31 seconds. 31 seconds, that's half a minute plus 1 second, 31 seconds of marching or jogging or running or walking fast paced. So once you start the 93-minute countdown, there's no pause, there's no stop. You gotta march or run or walk fast pace and do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. The Trinity. Hawks, push-ups, squats, 100 for each. Maximum 13 repetitions per set are allowed. A minimum of 3. So easy to do application. I'm going to work in progress. Build a Dragan app, build a Dragan app, Dragan app. You build it, holla, Dragan Army, pledge your allegiance, legions, pledge your allegiance, legions, pledge your allegiance, legions. Simple, effective, and efficient. Within that combination, within those rules, you can do it differently every time. So many different combinations in that rule, but you still get the cardio, and you still get it has to be done that way. So you still increase general overall fitness, although you can increase, sometimes do more cardio, sometimes less. I'm averaging about an hour to complete the workout. I'm averaging about an hour to complete the workout. I'm averaging about an hour to complete the workout. That's what it takes me. So encourage you today, if you listen to whenever in the future listen to this, or nobody listens to my videos, that's okay. But if somebody does, encourage you to work out, train, exercise. Sometimes it's best to admit things that we're struggling with, whether sexuality, finance, or XYZ, and then take solutions, right? Like struggle with depression is not fun. Addiction, right? For example, take pornography. Maybe I had an addiction to pornography. And in the past months, I've set a discipline and a rule. I said I'm only gonna watch pornography out of movies during the weekend, during the Sabbath of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Starts at midnight Friday at Hawk Island, and ends around 3 p.m. after 3 p.m. Sundays. So I set that discipline, and I've kept to it. I've kept to it. So I haven't watched in weeks, months, pornography during the week. So sure, I do masturbate. fantasizing, but without watching pornography, without watching pornography. Maybe I had a pornography addiction. Maybe you have an addiction. It requires certain action, like cleaning, my own healing, transformation required action, action, action. Working out, training, exercising, marching, marching, marching. And sometimes to admit, sometimes there are hard things to admit that we have prejudices, that we have hatreds, that we have jealousies. I've dealt with all. I've dealt with being prejudicial, I've dealt with being aggressive, I've dealt with being not being jealous. I've dealt, and I admit, I am mediocre at some things. I am average at other things. At certain things, I am so-so. I am great at geopolitical analysis and theory. I can analyze complex, multidimensional factors of geopolitical events and the nation states and the civilizations and the interactions of the past and the signing of the treaties and the significance in the economic, financial, commercial realm and the interaction between the systems, the political systems and the cultures and the civilizations and the philosophies ruled and what have you. So complex in detail, specifics of geopolitical analysis, whether of a country, of a region, or of a whole civilization, with its whole fundamentals, while also not being perfect, but still great at geopolitical analysis and theory. And of course, back in 2019, I have created a geopolitical analysis and theory, and I've came up to the conclusion back in 2019. Yours truly, Adrian Hanna Dragan, Adrian H. Dragan, then died during COVID, being reborn, Adrian Hanna Dragan, becoming Dragon Zero. Yours truly, through blood, sweat, and tears, and thousands of push-ups, thousands of hugs, thousands of squats, and millions of marching steps. And of course, back then, I've sounded the alarm. I said, hey, humanity, we are again on a trend. We are set on a trend towards another international conflagration. And so created, made, and designed the workout to be for such an emergency system to mobilize citizenry, which I'm calling for. 1% of NATO member countries, 1%. North America first, North America first, North America first, and then NATO, 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 beyond, to implement my trinity of theories for service and security, a new institution, the Dragon Army, in complementary covenant cooperative way with the international integrated dancing, the dancing goddess army, to attain harmony between civilization and nature, and of course to implement my theories. So back in 2019, I'm taking into consideration several factors, of which historical factors: the U.S.-China trade war, the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, aka Kathy Meng, the chief financial officer and daughter of the founder of Huawei, one of the biggest, who has actually become, if not the biggest, telecommunications, smartphones, equipment, internet infrastructure maker in the world, and since the 80s, founded I think in 1989. And Huawei, controversial. I'm not going to proclaim myself or denounce or say XYZ. It is not for that, but nonetheless taken as a geopolitical analyst and theorist in parallel with myself as an independent fitness captain and fitness advocate for a public-private partnership, to advocate for the mass financing of people to work out, to train, and to exercise. Advocating for it, I've analyzed the geopolitical trends, taken major events, the US-China trade war, the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, and consequently the arrest of two Michael Spavor, Michael Kovrig, by the RCMP in order to, by the Meng Wanzhou, the daughter of the founder of Huawei and the chief financial officer, was arrested by the RCMP, detained in order to honor an extradition treaty with the United States. Consequently, two Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were arrested and detained in order to, by Chinese authorities. Retaliation. A few months ago, there was an unadmitted quid pro quo exchange, an unadmitted quid pro quo exchange, unadmitted quid pro quo exchange. So that exchange happened before, after my geopolitical analysis of 2019. After my geopolitical analysis back in 2019, October, I sounded the alarm. I said, humanity, we are again on a path towards an international conflagration. And so created, made, and designed the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, made and designed and created to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which in an eerie, paradoxical, providential way resembles the COVID-19 health and financial crises. And since it resembles it, my scenario also had the solutions. That's what, since during COVID, had began advocating for. Now on COVID, I am triple vaccinated. Please increasing hygiene in public is my statement. But I got a trinity of beliefs surrounding COVID-19 health and financial crises. The COVID-19 health and financial crises. What caused COVID? This is my trinity of beliefs. First and foremost, I do not know for sure what caused COVID. Second, I do believe it was caused by snakes to human beings. What's called zoonotic. Some say bats. I believe snakes. Some say other animals like bats or fowl or pigs or other creatures, monkeys or whatever. I believe it is snakes. That's my belief, but I don't know for sure. And third, since I don't know for sure, and although my belief in snakes cannot be confirmed, and it's still a controversial. There's no consensus. There's no consensus on the origins and cause of COVID. Since my belief that snakes transmitted it is not confirmed, I cannot rule out another possibility XYZ. A fourth dimension to my trinity on COVID of I don't know for sure, I believe it was snakes, and thus, since I don't know for sure, and although I believe it was snakes, I cannot rule out another possibility XYZ, such as accident in a lab, coming from an alien from outer space, coming from a lab, coming from being a bioweapon, or XYZ experiment gone wrong. All the other possibilities XYZ. There's a fourth dimension to that trinity, is what do know 100% without any doubt whatsoever, is that in October 2019, yours truly has made, created, and produced the workout training program, designed, made, and created to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, and for the mobilization of citizenry to increase the general overall fitness of a mass citizenry, to increase the general overall citizenry of a mass citizenry, millions of people. North America first. My focus is a North American philosopher and independent athlete of North America, and of course to increase general overall fitness, which it does, my workout. But I've created it to go hand in hand with this World War III scenario, because it requires no equipment, requires to increase in cardio to be able to march and to do push-ups, hawk squats to increase general overall fitness for to be able to do XYZ, XYZ, XYZ in such an event of having to secure and mobilize citizenry, or for a draft, or what have you. So I've created it back in 2019. So independent geopolitical analyst and theorist and philosopher and independent fitness captain. Now that's what I've stated on COVID. I am of course a world peace advocate and have been and am calling for a resolution and an immediate ceasefires for all conflicts worldwide. I'm calling for an immediate ceasefire for all conflicts worldwide. I'm calling for an immediate ceasefire for all conflicts worldwide. I understand we need to replace XYZ war. If we're gonna replace it as a human civilization, we need to channel and sublimate the aggression, the violence. To channel and sublimate the aggression and the violence. To channel and sublimate the aggression and the violence. Working out, training, exercising, working out, training, exercising, working out, training, exercising. That's my way to channel and sublimate the aggression. To channel and sublimate the aggression. To channel and sublimate the aggression. That's why I'm advocating for the mass financing of perhaps citizens to do my workout training program, to try to do it as my parallel self tries to do it, is getting better at it, but still gets sore and still not 100%, as I am not still 100% with understanding my parallel self, where I'm a scientist involved in innovation and technology and develop, create, and produce satellites, supercomputers, ICBM gadgets, and microchips, and coding, and computer networks, and supercomputers, and supercomputers. Connected satellites with solar power, hydro, and XYZ. Today, 11:17 a.m. in the morning, I am thankful, grateful that my rent is paid in full for the month of August. Grateful, thankful that my electricity bill is paid in full. Grateful, thankful that I have some peanut butter, have some wieners, which I'm gonna boil, have some eggs. So I'm gonna be thank you, love you, kiss you, farmers who raise those eggs, Canadian eggs, Canada eggs, throughout the collective North American civilization. All farmers, thank you, love you, kiss you. All the farmers, thank you, love you, kiss you. All farmers involved in cattle raising, grain, fruits, whether grapes, my favorite fruit, or apples, or oranges, and Dairy, and thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers. One maybe a trucker now. He's gonna drive 13 hours drive. He maybe needs halfway a massage. Can't afford it. Gets too expensive. Price of gas has more than doubled since February 2020. With the Dragan army to be somewhere to be of service with applications. 1-800 number, 1-800 Dragan Army of Security and Service. 1-800 Dragan Army is what I'm dreaming for. That 1-800 Dragan Army. We go east, west, north, south on the march, coast to coast, North America, Hokkaido, Montreal, coast to coast, collective North American civilization, Canada, US, Mexico, and beyond, Mexico, Canada, US, and beyond, Canada, US, Mexico, secure, of course, North America, secure liberty, and implement my theories for more prosperity, addressing and moving towards a post-COVID world of economic, financial, commercial, philosophical, social, system of pleasure and purpose. That's my call to all. That's my call to all. That is my call to all. So implement my trinity of theories is my call. Citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, citizen democratic fusion theory. So thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, the farmers, the truckers, the daycare workers, the construction workers, the sanitation workers of the city, those making sandwiches, bagels, cheeseburgers, fries now, involved in the production of food, all the cooks, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, all the cooks, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, all the cooks, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, all the butchers, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, all the butchers and the bakers and the bakers and the bakers, and the nurses and the doctors and the daycare workers and the cleaning workers and the sanitation workers and the warehouse workers. Pardon? Pardon? And the grocery stores, clerks, and of course the warehouse workers, the dock workers, the bus drivers, the pilots, the train conductors, with the train conductors, the pilots, the plumbers, firefighters. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, firefighters, truckers, nurses, doctors, pilots, bus drivers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, bus drivers, cooks, butchers, bakers, farmers, daycare workers, construction workers, sanitation workers at the city, grocery store clerks. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, warehouse workers, dock workers, warehouses workers, bus drivers, farmers, cooks, bakers, butchers. Imagine how many trucks going now at this point in time throughout the highways of the collective North American civilization. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, perhaps even a few 10,000s between Mexico, Canada, US, and on the trains, transporting grain, and the trucker cannot afford a massage therapy. Calling on the politicians. Parliament of Canada, where you at? Go offer to give those nurses and the farmers and truckers a massage, man. offer. Doesn't mean you have to. Take. That's my offer. It's my offer. What I offer to my willing, loving allies and armies. First and foremost, kisses. That's what I offer. Got kisses, 718 trillions. Kisses got some hugs, some brain and some muscle with that. Some brain and some muscle with that. Not perfect. With issues, vices, get moody, upset. I'm not perfect. At some things I am mediocre. Some things I am average. Some things I am so-so. Revelation. One time had trouble changing a light bulb and messed the whole rim of the light bulb. One time had trouble changing the whole light bulb and messed the whole thing up. Can be clumsy, as my sister says. Can be clumsy, as my sister says. Can be clumsy, as my sister says. Admitting some things can be hard, whether prejudices, whether jealousies, hatreds, the hidden hatreds, hidden lusts, hidden fears that are part of us, right? I say the irrational. And it's not everything is mathematical and logic. There's an irrational, subconscious, emotional, and how we feel about things. Sometimes it's important. Gotta go balance, right? Right. And everybody gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat, man. And drink. Food, housing, and transport secure across the collective North American civilization. Food, housing, and transport secure across the collective North American civilization. Food, housing, and transport, the three essential elements of civilization, and in Dragon Army to work on the fourth dimension to that trinity. Food, housing, and transport. Services, services, services. What can one do? What can you offer? What can I do? Well, I can clean, I can cook, I can massage, I learned massage therapy during COVID and from past lives. I can read, I can write, I can rap, I can clean, cook, work out, train, exercise, do push-ups, dance, 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 read, read, read. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go on the reading now. So that is my yours truly's to all. Call to all. Public-private partnership, the implementation of my theories, citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, as I'm calling for all to support the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit, to support the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit, to support the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit, where me, you, the willingly loving, the willingly loving, the willingly loving, gonna meet at the corner of Sherbrooke University. Gonna meet at the corner of Sherbrooke University. The leaders of the free world. We're gonna march around about Mount Royal, the headquarters of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and we're gonna discuss the implementation of my trinity of theories, the CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, which will fight alienation and foster more integration across all levels of society and civilization, and debt fusion theory to address the economic, financial, commercial inequalities and take action, debt fusion theory, and democratic fusion theory to the public-private partnership to secure and ensure liberty and freedom by the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions to be integrated with all existing private and public institutions and organizations. Encourage people to work out, train, exercise, and to move towards a post-COVID economic, financial, commercial, social, political, philosophical, artistic, and in all areas system of and for and of pleasure and purpose to attain harmony between civilization and nature, purpose and pleasure. For the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose, to invest in it by working out, training, exercising, and hygiene. See some of my videos on YouTube. I take baths, and hygiene, and XYZ. And please increase in hygiene in public. When I step outside in public, there's added dimensions, added duties, responsibilities, and obligations. Added obligations, responsibilities, and duties. Added duties, responsibilities, and obligation when we step outside. For XYZ, hygiene or respect the distance between other citizens, 2 meters, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Gonna get a little bit of a refill and we're gonna start doing the reading on the One China policy. Again, before I do the reading on the One China policy, I wanna say thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, daycare workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, nurses. Thank you, love you, kiss you, doctors. Hug, hug, hug. Thank you, warehouse workers, dock workers, sanitation workers of the city. Those who picked the garbage. This week picked the recycling. This week picked the compost. This week, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. You're dating a massage, cannot afford it. Politicians of Parliamentarians of Canada, House of Commons of Canada, 300 something members, and Senate 100 members, less, whatever the number is. Senate and House of Commons 338 was the 338. Parliament of Canada, how many use elected? 338 NDP, Conservative, Liberal, all go give the offer to give the farmers a hug and a massage, to the farmers and the truckers and the butchers and the bakers. That's Dragon Zero's order. Go offer the farmers a massage, a hug, a case of wash, something. That's Dragon Zero order. Congress of the United States, senators, senators, House of Representatives, House of Representatives, House of Representatives. Offer to give those farmers a massage or a kiss or a hug or a wash. I'll do it with you. I'll come with you. Parliamentarians, senators in the US and senators of Canada, and House of Commons, and of course the Parliament and the House of Representatives of the United States, the House of Representatives of the United States, together, politicians, elected politicians of Canada and US with the Dragan army. We're gonna go give the offer to give the truckers a massage and a kiss and a hug, and the farmers and the farmers and the farmers and the nurses. As a matter of fact, I am calling on the public-private partnership as the multi-millionaires and billionaires to finance the nurses a weekend off to go somewhere in the city, coast to coast, other cities or to province, and to have the hotel, motel paid, and to have massage therapy offered, paid, and spa, and of course food, and what have you, the nurses. Regular vacation nurses. Dragon Army for Service and Security is what I'm advocating and calling for. Dragon Army for Service and Security is what I'm calling and advocating for. Dragon Army for Security and Services is what I'm calling and advocating for. 11:29 a.m. in the morning. Who made a million today? It's been 2 hours that the stock market is open. Buy, sell, trade, buy, sell stocks, forex. Please, if you do make a million or a multi-millionaire, get first and foremost food security. Because everybody gotta eat. Get dirty but get back clean. Please increase in hygiene in public. We're gonna go rock and roll for this. Refill cup of coffee. And since my introduction has been quite a little bit longer than expected, I am calling all wittingly loving to the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom's world peace mission, and this independent athlete, people's athlete, independent artist, independent activist. Activist not just blah blah blah, but to do as well. Hug, kiss, massage, read, clean, cook. offer. What can you offer? What can I offer? What can I do? What can you do? Admit that. Also have the more selfish side. I'm not totally selfless. I am not totally selfless. As a matter of fact, and if I could afford it, I will get a good bottle of wine and I will get a good bottle of whiskey to drink over the weekend. Canadian whiskey, and a good pork loin chops, some good bacon. As prices have been increasing, and I love the bacon. As a matter of fact, I could eat every day at the. I'm not gonna name because they're not giving me a dime or financing or sponsoring, but I could eat every day at a certain restaurant or every other day. I cook on a budget, and food is holy, sacred, and divine. I'm trying to eliminate food waste and increasing compost and recycling from Mother Nature and public-private partnership, because it requires action. If I just blah blah blah, sophisticated parlance, 10,000 words of overly sophisticated diatribes, which would perhaps muddle and more confuse and muddle and obfuscate and go around navigate about the solutions, because it's with solutions that we gotta focus on that. For myself, one of my solutions has been working out, training, exercising. That's great for mental health. That's wonderful for mental health, for the whole being. Working out, training, is medicine and therapy. The appreciation of the body. If you're struggling to come out, and my brothers and sisters, there are many who are struggling to come out as being part of my LGBTQ community. Rainbow Nation across nations unite. Rainbow Nation across nations unite. Rainbow Nation across nations unite. Don't tell me that Carl Nassim is the only player in the four patriarchal sports league. There are many on each team of the four patriarchal sports leagues of the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. There's one. Even our beloved Montreal Canadiens, Habs, there's one or even more than one who is LGBTQ. Absolutely, I have no doubt. Out of 10, there's at least one. Or out of 20, there's even more. So how many players that there are in the Canadians Habs? More than 30, right? So there's at least 3, maybe. I understand economic, financial, commercial pressures, and I've lost continuance and opportunity to being LGBTQ, and people gossip. That's why I founded the Global Dragon Union, the 21st Century International Workers Alliance, right? International Workers Alliance, 21st Century. International Workers Alliance for the 21st Century. International Workers Alliance, 21st Century, with the 11 Holy Principles. One of it is try to limit gossip, try to limit gossip, try to limit gossip. Try to limit gossip, right? Gossip, gossip, gossip. Right? It's dress, sometimes best to address direct, sometimes best to address direct, sometimes best be straightforward and direct. Like, I got a little limb dick, androgynous clit. It's a clitoris dick. Got a little limb dick. It grows a bit, but it's a clitoris dick. We got that out of the way. Can go get a refill and maybe get more solutions. And politicians elected, the Dragan army gonna go offer the farmers a hug and a kiss and a massage and maybe a washing of their feet. But the farmers, such as the Rabbi Jesus, Rabbi Jesus. It's a universal spiritual teaching student. Nature is divine, holy. The sun is holy, sacred, and divine. Civilization, also the body, also mankind, humanity, divinity, spirituality is within the flesh as well, within the body, within eating, within. Now we're gonna read and one more. Thank you, love you, kiss you. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, construction workers who are working in the collective North American civilization. Here in Hawk Island, Montreal, here, construction workers building the roads. We're building roads, and aqueducts, right? Because you need the water. So thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Building, changing those aqueducts as I see them doing in Montreal. Je vous remercie beaucoup les constructeurs qui ont changé changed the aqueducts in the Montreal. I see some of them are probably decades old. So the infrastructure. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, and the nurses, the doctors, daycare workers, the butchers, and the bakers and the farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, all the cooks, the sanitation workers, the cleaning workers, independent athletes like yours truly who are financially struggling. Those who are millionaires, they can afford their massage therapy, so I won't say a thank you. I will not say a thank you to the to the multi-millionaire athletes. I will not say thank you to the multi-millionaire athletes unless they give to the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom or to food security. Then I say thank you to LGBTQ youth sports. Thank you. Then if they give charitable. I can't do charity right now, but with kisses. I can only do charity right now, but with kisses. I can only do charity right now, but with kisses. 11:36 a.m. 11:36 a.m. 11:36 a.m. And we are going to rock and roll. We're gonna go to read about the One China policy. I'm gonna read about the One China policy. This is controversial a bit. It is in the more controversial sense, and of course, it has certain aspects which are controversial for XYZ reasons, but due to the current events which have transpired, I am of course going to read about the One China principle. And due to the current events, and I will stress and say that of course I am advocating for an immediate ceasefire, peaceful resolution of conflicts, mutually beneficial, especially by the implementation of my trinity of theories known as citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory, and to create by those theories the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragan Army, complementary with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, for the environmental issues and attaining harmony between civilization and nature. and the Dragon army to be for security and service in both institutions, the Dancing Goddess army and the Dragon army to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, the Dragon army to be of security and services to be offered with consent and hygiene and mutual understanding and love, the principle that harm none with consent, mutual understanding, love, and hygiene, and the principle that harm none with the principle harm none and mutual understanding, love, and hygiene, all services to be offered, such as a massage, but with no abuse, and accounting, applications, apps, and 1-800 numbers, and XYZ houses of the Dragon, east, west, north, south, houses of the Dragon, east, west, north, south, houses of the Dragon army, east, west, north, south, where truckers and can get a massage or can get a hug or can get a cup of coffee and discuss an XYZ, east, west, north, south, service and security, for the regeneration of, first and foremost, of the collective North American civilization and beyond, for world peace, as yours truly's theories, calling all willing to living to support their implementation, while admitting that I'm not perfect, far from it, with issues, vices, get moody, get upset, got lust. I do not play self-righteous. I am mediocre at some things, average at others, so-so at certain things. Great at geopolitical analysis, great philosopher, the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet, with some brain and some muscle, with some brain and some muscle, with some brain and some muscle. One China, the term One China policy, and this I'm gonna read due to the current events, in China and Taiwan, with the crises unfolding, and it's 11:40 a.m. For all I know, it could be that an invasion by the Republic of China of the Republic of China, by the People's Republic of China, the Republic of China, ROC officially known, and the People's Republic of China, calling all east, west, north, south, my Chinese brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters in Taiwan, my brothers and sisters in Europe, and all my brothers and sisters in Africa, South America, and the Middle East, to we channel the aggression and we work towards being less selfish and share more, attain harmony between civilization and nature, and implement my trinity of theories. Yours truly, North American geopolitical analyst. I'm gonna be reading about One China to understand, be more wise and knowledgeable in current events and what can transpire as I'm speaking. And today, for all we know, World War III can begin today. For all we know, World War III can begin today. For all we know, if it hasn't begun already, if it has not begun already. The term One China. So this is from the Wikipedia article, article on Wikipedia. The term One China may refer to one of the following. The One China principle is the position held by the People's Republic of China, the PRC, that there is only one sovereign state under the name China. The One China principle, or the One China position, is the position held by the People's Republic of China that there is only one sovereign state under the name China. The One China principle is the position held by the People's Republic of China that there is only one sovereign state under the name China, with the PRC serving as the sole legitimate government of that China, and Taiwan is a part of China, So this is super important to understand current events, and the gravity of the situation in Asia and the crises ongoing now in China, and between, of course, furthermore, the Sino-North American, Sino-Canadian, Sino-American, Sino-North American crises, the Sino-North American crisis, which began really with the trade war back in 2018 and the deterioration of relations thereof after more than 30 years of increasing economic, financial, and commercial relations. Because since the 80s, the economic, financial, commercial relations between the collective North American civilization has increased. The North American civilization, the collective North American civilization has increased since then, since the 80s, and for more than 30 years, and China has grown tremendously. And just I have to say, before I'm going to say that perhaps many of us in the West do not fully understand China and modern China, and we do not fully understand
their idea of socialism with Chinese characteristics, the idea of China's political social philosophy called socialism with Chinese characteristics, the that's ruling China, the philosophy, the political and social and economic philosophy that's ruling China now is that of the socialism with Chinese characteristics and their aspiration to build a socialist spiritual civilization, their aspiration to build a socialist spiritual civilization, aspiration to build a socialist spiritual civilization. So I'm calling for dialogue and Dragon Zero World Peace Summit here in corner of Sherbrooke University, roundabout Mount Royal in Hawk Island. So the One China principle is the position held by the People's Republic of China that there is only one sovereign state under the name China, with the PRC serving as the sole legitimate government of that China, and Taiwan is a part of China. Is a part of China. It is opposed to the idea that there are two states holding the name China. So, the People's Republic of China, also called mainland China, is opposed to the idea that there are two states with the name China. The term two Chinas refers to the geopolitical situation where two political entities exist under the name China. So the term two Chinas refer to the geopolitical situation where two political entities exist under the name China. The term two Chinas refers to the geopolitical situation where two political entities exist under the name China. The People's Republic of China and the Republic of China, so the PRC and the ROC, as well as the idea that China and Taiwan form two separate countries, right? So the One China policy, now I'm reading from Wikipedia, So the two separate countries, one country on each side, is a concept originating in the Democratic Progressive Party led by Chiang Kai-shek, the former president of the Republic of China, the ROC, also known as Taiwan, regarding the political status of Taiwan. It emphasized that the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China are two different entities. One China with respective interpretations refer to the interpretations of the 1992 consensus. What is the 1992 consensus? 1992 consensus is a political term referring to the alleged outcome of a meeting in 1992 between the semi-official representatives of the People's Republic of China, the PRC of mainland China, and the ROC, the Republic of China of Taiwan. They are often credited as creating a diplomatic bloc. Asserted by the ROC, then governing political party Kuomintang, the KMT. What is the Kuomintang? The Kuomintang, also referred to as Kuomintang GMD of the Chinese Nationalist Party, is a major political party in the Republic of China, Taiwan. It was the dominant party in China during the Republican era from 1928 to 1948. And the Republic of China, the ROC, Taiwan, officially the Republic of China. So Taiwan is officially called the Republic of China, the ROC. It's a country in East Asia of the joint East and South China Seas, the island of it, as well as the idea that China and Taiwan from two separate countries, like we said, that there's one China, but disagreed on whether China is represented by the PRC or ROC. This interpretation of the 1992 consensus has not been accepted by the PRC, the People's Republic of China. Prior to the 1991 constitutional amendments and democratization of Taiwan, the KMT-dominated ROC government considered the ROC itself as the sole legitimate government of China, which actively contested sovereignty over its constitutionally defined territories, including the former Qing dynasty borders of mainland China, Outer Mongolia, Tanureke and Badakistan, etc., and also legally designed the Chinese Communist Party as a rebellious group. The Democratic Progressive Party, the DPP, you see how this is something that's dates in the history, and that's now it's in the crisis. Sino-Western crisis, Sino-Western crisis, Sino-Western crisis, Sino-North American crisis, Sino-US crisis, and Taiwan. This situation that exists now has never accepted the existing of a consensus, and Li Tenghui, president of the ROC at the time, said no consensus had been reached and claims to the contrary were nonsense, and that the term was something that former Mainland Affairs Council Minister Shu Qi fabricated to placate the KMT in 2000, which Shu conceded in 2006. The One China policy refers to a United States policy of strategic ambiguity. We heard this term in the news lately in the past days, weeks, and months. Regarding Taiwan, a policy of deliberate ambiguity is the practice by a government of being intentionally ambiguous on certain aspects of its foreign policy. It may be used if the country has contrary foreign and domestic policy goal if it wants to take advantage of risk aversion. In the 1972 joint communique with the People's Republic of China, the United States acknowledges that all Chinese on either side of the Taiwan Strait maintain there is but one China and that Taiwan is a part of China and does not challenge that position. It reaffirms the U.S. in 1972, I think it was when Kissinger went or something with a trip. Kissinger went to China and met with Mao Zedong, the founder of the modern China, the People's Republic of China. It reaffirms the U.S. interest in peaceful settlement of the Taiwan question. The United States has formal relations with the PRC, recognizes the PRC as the sole legal government of China, and simultaneously maintains its unofficial relations with Taiwan. The bilateral relationship between Taiwan and the United States of America is the subject of the Japan-U.S. relations during Japanese colonial rule and China-U.S. relations before the government led by the Kuomintang retreated to Taiwan and its neighboring islands as a result of the Chinese Civil War. So that's exactly what the Chinese Civil War. So this is rooted in the Chinese Civil War. While not recognizing China's sovereignty over Taiwan, while not recognizing China's sovereignty over Taiwan, while not recognizing China's sovereignty over Taiwan. The One China policy may refer to the stance of numerous other countries. For instance, Australia's 1972 joint communique with the PRC recognized the government of the PRC as China's sole legal government and acknowledged the position of the PRC that Taiwan was a province of the PRC, but neither supports nor opposes the PRC's position on the matter. While some countries such as the UK, Canada, Australia, and Japan, like the USA, acknowledge but do not recognize the PRC's claim, the People's Republic of China's claim, the communiques of some others, including Israel, Panama, and Gambia, concurs with the PRC's interpretation. Interesting. See, I didn't know that. I'm learning every day. After the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, defeated the Kuomintang, the KMT, KMT, the Kuomintang, in the Chinese Civil War. Now we're going to read a little bit about the Chinese Civil War. The Chinese Civil War was fought between the Kuomintang, also known as the KMT-led government of the Republic of China, the ROC, and forces of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, lasting intermittently after 1927. And the subsequent retreat of the ROC to Taiwan. The retreat of the government of the Republic of China to Taiwan. It's a whole article just on that. So that was the retreat, which we're going to go quickly. So the retreat of the government of the Republic of China, ROC, to Taiwan, basically also known as Kuomintang's retreat to Taiwan, or the Great Retreat in Taiwan, refers to the exodus of the remnants of the internationally recognized Kuomintang-ruled government of the Republic of China, the ROC, to the island of Taiwan, also known as Formosa, on December 7, 1949, after losing the Chinese Civil War in the mainland. The Kuomintang Chinese Nationalist Party, its officers, and approximately 2 million ROC troops ROC, Republic of China, Republic of China Armed Forces, ROCAF, and the Armed Forces of the Republic of China, took part in the retreat, in addition to many civilians and refugees fleeing the advance of the People's Liberation Army of the Chinese Communist Party, of the Chinese Communist Party, of the Chinese Communist Party, Chinese Communist Party. So it occurred then. So after the founding of the Republic of China, this is fascinating. Everybody dealing with this subject has to know this, understand this, and be aware a little bit about this to a more degree, less or more. So the One China policy and the retreat of the ROC to Taiwan, the CCP established the PRC. So after the retreat, the founding of the People's Republic of China was formally proclaimed by Mao Zedong, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, on October 1st, 1949, at 3 p.m. in Tiananmen Square in Peking. The founding of the People's Republic of China was formally proclaimed by Mao Zedong, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, on October 1, 1949, at 3 p.m. in Tiananmen Square in Peking. Now Beijing, the new capital of China. So the founding of the People's Republic of China was formally proclaimed by Chairman Mao, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, on October 1st, 1949, at 3 p.m. in Tiananmen Square, Peking, what is now known as Beijing, in mainland China, while the ROC ruled over Taiwan and several outlying islands. During this time, both governments continued to claim legitimacy as the government of all China fell. As correction. Both governments continued to claim legitimacy as the government of all China. Both governments continued to claim the government of all China. International recognition of the two was split, but most countries began to recognize the PRC over the ROC in the 1970s. But most countries began to recognize the PRC over the ROC in the 1970s. But most countries began to recognize the PRC, meaning the People's Republic of China, founded by Mao, over the ROC, Republic of China, also known as Taiwan. The Republic of China, commonly known as Taiwan, has full diplomatic relations with 13 of the 193 United Nations member states, including the United States in 1979. So the United States recognized the Republic of China over the ROC, over Taiwan, in 1979. The language in the United States One China policy first arose in its joint 1972 communique. 1972 communique, the three communiques or the three joint communiques are a collection of three joint statements made by the governments of the United States and the People's Republic of China, the PRC. The communiques played a crucial role in the establishment of relation between the US and the PRC. With the PRC, under the ROC, President Lee Teng-hui in the 1990s, the additional articles of the Constitution of China were passed. The additional articles of the Constitution of the Republic of China are the revisions and constitutional amendments to the original Constitution to meet the requisites of the nation and the political status of Taiwan prior to national unification. The additional articles are usually attached to the original, were passed, which effectively transformed Taiwan from a one-party state into a democracy, and limited civil and political rights to citizens in the free area. The area under its actual control consisting mostly of Taiwan, but did not alter language regarding territorial claims or national territory. Subsequently, views on the One China principle in the ROC have been largely split along party lines. Pan-Blue coalition parties, including the KMT, which favor One China with respective interpretations, while Pan-Green coalition parties, including the Democratic Progressive Party, rejected. Meanwhile, the PRC has maintained its One China principle. Meanwhile, the has maintained its One China principle. Background. The Dutch established a colony on Taiwan in 1624. The Dutch experienced President Tainan. Shortly after, the Spanish established a colony in northern Taiwan in 1626. 1626. Learning, see, it's historical events. While Taiwan remained under Japanese control, the Qing dynasty was ousted, and the First and the Second Republic of China (ROC) were established from the Beiyang regime to the Kuomintang. An argument has been made that Japan formally renounced all territorial rights to Taiwan in 1952 in the San Francisco Peace Treaty. Interesting. So Japan renounced 1952 the claims to Taiwan territorial rights. The San Francisco Peace Treaty. The ROC continued to claim itself as the rightful ruler of the entirety of China under the single-party KMT regime, and the PRC made a symmetric claim. In 1971, the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 replaced the ROC seat in the United Nations with the ROC. Interesting. So this in 1971. The United States resolution that passed replaced the ROC, Republic of China, aka Taiwan, seat in the United Nations with the People's Republic of China founded by Mao Zedong. Wow, in 1971. Interesting. From April 30, 1991, the ROC officially recognized the PRC, thus abandoning the Hallstein Doctrine. The Hallstein Doctrine, named after Walter Hallstein, Holstein surname, Hallstein. This is a key principle in the foreign policy of the Federal Republic of Germany from 1955 to 1970. As actually presented, it prescribed that the Federal Republic would not establish or maintain diplomatic relations with any state, while maintaining the claim of an exclusive man as the legitimate ruler of China. The ROC transformed the Republic of China, aka Taiwan, transformed into a free and democratic state in the 1990s, following decades of martial law, with the passage of the additional articles of the Constitution of the Republic of China. Decades of martial law. Fascinating. So it lived, ROC, also known as Taiwan, lived for several decades under martial law, one-party state. Their dictatorship, I guess, right? Interesting. So become more democratic in the 1990s. Afterwards, the legal and political status of Taiwan. The controversy surrounding the political status of Taiwan is a result of the Second World War, the second phase of the Chinese Civil War, and the Cold War. So this is summarizing it. So the controversy surrounding the political status of Taiwan is a result of World War II, the Second World War, the second phase of the Chinese Civil War, and the Cold War. The controversy surrounding the political status of Taiwan is a result of the Second World War, the second phase of the Chinese Civil War, and the Cold War. Exactly. Well, has become more contentious, while increasing public expressions in favor of Taiwan independence, which were formally outlawed. Wow. The Taiwan independence movement is a political movement which advocates the formal declaration of an independent and sovereign Taiwanese state, as opposed to Chinese unification or the status quo in cross-strait relations, which were formally outlawed. Viewpoints within Taiwan. Within Taiwan, there is a distinction between the positions of the Kuomintang KMT and the Democratic Progressive Party. Kuomintang holds the One China principle and maintains its claim that under the ROC, Republic of China Constitution passed by the Kuomintang government in 1947 in Nanjing, the ROC has sovereignty over most of China, including by interpretation both mainland China and Taiwan. After the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, expelled the ROC in the Chinese Civil War from most of Chinese territory in 1949 and founded the People's Republic of China, the ROC's Chinese nationalist government, which still held Taiwan, continued to claim legitimacy as the government of all China. Wow. Former President Lee Teng-hui, additional articles were appended to the ROC Constitution in 1991, so it applied effectively only to the Taiwan area. The Kuomintang proclaims a modified form of a One China principle known as the 1992 Consensus. Under this consensus, both governments agree that there's only one single sovereign state encompassing both mainland China and Taiwan, but disagree about which of these two governments is the legitimate government of this state. Former ROC President Ma Kong-ju had reasserted claims on mainland China as late as October 8, 2008. Wow. Wow. Hardcore, hardcore, hardcore. The Democratic Progressive Party rejects the One China principle, and its official president currently is that Taiwan is an independent and sovereign country whose territory consists of Taiwan and its surrounding smaller islands, and whose sovereignty derives only from the ROC citizen living in Taiwan, similar philosophy of self-determination. Based on the 1991 resolution of Taiwan's future, it considers Taiwan as an independent nation under the name of Republic of China, making a formal declaration of independence unnecessary. Though calls for drafting a new constitution and a declaration of the Republic of Taiwan was written into the party charter in 1991, the 1991 resolution has practically superseded the earlier charter. Supporters of the Taiwan independence movement also oppose the One China principle. Evolution of the One China principle. So it evolved. The revised position of PRC, People's Republic of China, was made clear in the Anti-Secession Law of 2005. The Anti-Secession Law is the law of the People's Republic of China passed by the third session of the 10th National People's Congress. It was ratified on March 14, 2005 and went into effect immediately. Hu Jintao proclaimed the law of presidential decree, which, although stating that there is only one China whose sovereignty is indivisible, does not explicitly identify this China with the PRC. One interpretation of one China is that only one geographical region of China exists, which was split between the two Chinese governments during the Chinese Civil War. Policy position in the PRC. In practice, official sources and state-owned media never refer to the ROC government, and seldom to the government of Taiwan. Instead, the government in Taiwan is referred to as the Taiwan authorities. The PRC does not accept or stamp Republic of China passports. The People's Republic of China or mainland China does not accept or stamp Republic of China passports. Interesting. Republic of China passports. Republic of China passport is power issued to nationals of the Republic of China, ROC, commonly known as Taiwan. Instead, a Taiwan resident visiting mainland China must use a Taiwan compatriot entry permit. Hong Kong grants visa-free entry to holders of the permit. The United Front. Wow. Revolutionary Committee of the Chinese Central Kuomintang. Policy position in the ROC. The two sides of the strait have different opinions as to the meaning of One China. To Beijing, One China means People's Republic of China, PRC, with Taiwan to become a special administrative region after unification. So these are the only official statement of ROC, Republic of China, on its interpretation of the One China policy. It dates back to 1st of August 1992. So the National Unification Council was a non-statutory government agency of the Republic of China on Taiwan, established on 7th October 1990. Since 1949, China has been temporarily divided, and each side of the Taiwan Strait is administered by a separate political entity. This is an objective reality that no proposal for China's unification can overlook. In February 1991, the government of the Republic of China, resolutely seeking to establish consensus and start the process of unification, adopted the Guidelines for National Unification. The National Unification Guidelines, NUG, were written by the National Council. This was done to enhance the progress and well-being of the people and the prosperity of the nation. The ROC government sincerely hopes that the mainland authorities will adopt a pragmatic attitude, set aside prejudices, and cooperate in contributing its wisdom and energies toward the building of a free, democratic, and prosperous China. However, political consensus and public opinion in Taiwan has evolved since 1992, and the National Unification Council was suspended and ceased to function in 2006. There is significant difference between each faction's recognition for and understanding of the One China principle. The Pan-Blue coalition parties led by the Kuomintang generally accept the One China policy. In particular, former President Mao Zedong stated in 2006 when he was the Kuomintang chairman that One China is the Republic of China. The Pan-Green coalition parties led by the Democratic Progressive Party, the Democratic Progressive Party, Democratic Progressive Party. Other countries on one China policies. Not formally recognizing the ROC is a requirement for any political entity to establish diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. Wow. Not formally recognizing the Republic of China, also known as Taiwan, is a requirement for any political entity to establish diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. In effect, forcing other governments to choose between Beijing and Taipei. At times, the PRC has used financial incentives to entice smaller countries to recognize it over the ROC Republic of China. United States policy. The United States One China policy was first stated in the Shanghai Communique in 1972. The United States acknowledges that Chinese on either side of the Taiwan Strait maintain that there is but one China and that Taiwan is a part of China. The United States does not challenge that position. The United States has not expressed an explicitly immutable statement regarding whether it believes Taiwan is independent or not. Instead, Washington simply states that they understand the PRC's claim on Taiwan as its own. In many fact, many scholars agree that the U.S. One China policy was not intended to please the PRC, People's Republic of China's government, but as a way for Washington to conduct international relations in the region. The position of the United States. As clarified in China-Taiwan Evolution of the One China Policy, the Congressional Research. The United States did not explicitly state the sovereign status of Taiwan in the three U.S. PRC joint communiques 1972, 1979, 1982. The United States acknowledged the One China position for both sides of the Taiwan Strait. 3. The U.S. policy has not recognized the PRC, People's Republic of China's sovereignty over Taiwan. 4. U.S. policy has not recognized Taiwan as a sovereign country, and U.S. policy has considered Taiwan's status as unsettled. Wow. Hardcore. Japanese position. Japan has recognized the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China since 1975, but has maintained an ambiguous stance regarding the People's Republic of China's sovereignty claim over the island of Taiwan. Russian position. In 1949, the Soviet Union recognized the People's Republic of China as the only lawful government of China. The ROC on Taiwan had cancelled the Sino-Soviet Treaty of Friendship and Alliance in response. The Soviet Union voted to admit the People's Republic of China into the UN in 1971. As with the past leaderships, the Russian government has accepted its support for the One China policy that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China and opposes any forms of independence. As stated in Article 5 of the 2001 Sino-Russian Treaty of Friendship, the Treaty of Good Neighborliness and Friendly Cooperation between the People's Republic of China and the Russian Federation is a 20-year strategic treaty that was signed by the leaders of the two international powers, Jiang Zemin and Vladimir Putin, on July 16, 2001. This was reaffirmed in January 2022 when Russian and PRC leaders Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping discussed the situation in the midst of the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. This was reaffirmed in January 2022 when Russian and PRC leaders Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping discussed the situation in the midst of the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, and again in July 2022 by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov as Nancy Pelosi begins to visit Taiwan. Note 66, Note 66, Note 66. So this was reaffirmed in January 2022 of this year when Russian and PRC leaders Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping discussed the situation in the midst of the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, and again in July 2022 by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Nancy Pelosi begins to visit Taiwan. This was reaffirmed in January 2022 when Russian and PRC leaders Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping discussed the situation in the midst of the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, and again in July 2022 by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov as Nancy Pelosi begins to visit Taiwan. And we will wrap it up there. So we were live on Facebook. This cup of coffee, morning cup of coffee, is now noon, and I'm gonna go make my lunch on a budget.